Have a blessed day to all of us, especially to our professor, Dr. Carla Jen Ruz. Have a blessed day to you, ma'am. My task is to report on global citizenship education, the basics and debates. Our first reporter already discussed the parameters of global citizenship and global citizenship education. My task now is to continue the topic, and the next topic is all about ongoing tensions. There are ongoing conceptual tensions within global citizenship education which are not irreconcilable but cannot be ignored. If we will say not irreconcilable, it means two or more things are capable of being reconciled. It suggests that despite differences or conflicts, a resolution or agreement is possible. Then the complex and challenging nature of GCE should be seen as strength rather than as a weakness. If you will say can be seen as strength rather than as a weakness, it means it must be perceived positively and valued rather than being viewed negatively or as a liability. It obliges those engaged in GCE to continuously re-examine perceptions, values, beliefs, and worldviews. It means to critically reassess and reflect upon one's existing understanding and perspectives. Example and perceptions. We need to review how we interpret and understand information and experiences. Values. We need to evaluate the principles and standards that are important to us. And beliefs. Questioning the convictions and assumptions we hold to be true. And the worldviews, it needs to reflect on our overall perspective on life, society, and the world. Re-examining these aspects can lead to personal growth, deeper understanding, and potentially changing or refining our viewpoints based on new insights or information. While these tensions vary, they all point to the fundamental question. The question is, how to promote universality while respecting singularity? So if you will say universality, example is the common and collective identity, interest, participation, and duty. While singularity, example is individual rights, self-improvement. Promoting universality while respecting singularity means recognizing and valuing the commonalities that exist among individuals and cultures, while also acknowledging and respecting their unique differences. One tension is whether global citizenship education should promote global community outcomes or outcomes for individual learners. The former position highlights what global citizenship education can contribute to the world, while the latter focuses on what can be done to equip individual learners with 21st century skills. On this slide, what have you observed on the two graphics? Global solidarity hand-in-hand graphic in the left side represents the idea of unity, cooperation, and support among people from different parts of the world. It symbolizes the importance of working together towards common goals and addressing global challenges collectively. On the other hand, the global competition handbook graphic on the right side represents the idea of intense competition and rivalry on a global scale. This image portrays individuals or nations in a competitive stance. It symbolizes the cutthroat nature of global competition, where the focus is on individual or national interests rather than cooperation and collaboration. This debate also relates in part to the question of how to simultaneously promote global solidarity and individual competitiveness. Some would argue that solidarity and competitiveness are essentially antagonistic. The argument that solidarity and competitiveness are essentially antagonistic suggests that these two concepts are fundamentally opposed and cannot coexist harmoniously. According to this perspective, the pursuit of solidarity, which emphasizes cooperation, mutual support, and collective well-being, is at odds with the drive for competitiveness, which prioritizes individual or group success, achievement, and advantage over others. In reality, solidarity and competitiveness can coexist and even complement each other in a certain context. Competition can drive innovation, excellence, and progress, pushing individuals or groups to strive for the best. At the same time, solidarity provides a foundation for collaboration, empathy, and collective action, ensuring that the benefits of competition are shared and that no one is left behind. I have here a self-taught example or illustration about solidarity and competition. I am not sure if this is really 100% correct. So, just correct me if I'm wrong after my presentation, ma'am. So, we all know that our Caraga Regional Athletic Games 2024 was done successfully. And congratulations to all of us because I think all of us here comes from the same region, the Caraga region. Let's consider the example of a progression from an intramural athletic meet to higher levels of competition, illustrating both solidarity and global competition. On this illustration, it shows all about sports. Before athletic meet, we need to select competent students. That is why we had intramurals. So scenario in intramurals, students from the same school compete against each other. It shows solidarity, where the focus is on participation, school spirit, and mutual support. Students cheer for each other, fostering a sense of community and camaraderie. After intramurals, municipal meet follows, where the schools from different districts within a municipality compete. It shows solidarity when there is a strong sense of community identity. Teams support one another, celebrating each school's achievements as a reflection of the municipality's talent and hard work. Cluster meet follows municipal meet, where it shows solidarity when the regional integration encourages athletes from neighboring municipalities to interact and form bonds. Shared goals foster a sense of common purpose among athletes, aiming to represent their cluster in division meets. As global competition, first advanced coaching, introduce specialized coaching to refine techniques and strategies. Performance analysis, start using basic performance metrics to monitor and enhance athlete progress. Division meet follows cluster meet. The scenario here is municipal champions compete within a division. It shows solidarity when competitors recognize they represent the respective municipalities. They encourage and learn from each other, building a network of athletes who support regional development. After division meet, here is the regional meet. So example of this is the CIRAG 2024. The scenario here is division champions compete at a regional level. It shows solidarity when athletes and schools see themselves as part of a larger regional community. There is mutual respect and shared pride in the region's athletic talent, fostering a spirit of unity. So after the regional meet, here comes the great level, the Palarong Pambansa. Addressing both solidarity and global competition at the Palarong Pambansa level involves a multifaceted approach. Considering the unique context of this national sports event in the Philippines, here are some case strategies to balance these aspects. Promoting solidarity, first is the cultural exchange programs, team building activities, inclusive ceremonies, education and awareness campaigns. Enhancing global competition, number 1, high-performance training programs, exposure to international, talent identification and development, performance analytics. By implementing these strategies, the Palarong Pambansa can successfully foster a spirit of solidarity among athletes while also preparing them to excel in global competitions. Let's move on to reconciling local and global identities and interests. In countries where identity is a sensitive issue and solidifying the national identity itself is a challenge, it is a room for promoting a sense of citizenship at the global level could be limited, where national citizenship identities are conflicted or under threat. So research and dialogue could facilitate the reconciliation of local and global identities and interests. In room for promoting a sense of citizenship at the global level could be limited, there are some factors that may limit the promotion of global citizenship include cultural differences, political boundaries, economic disparities, language and communication, lack of global institutions, educational challenges, environmental and health crises. Addressing these limitations requires collaborative efforts to overcome barriers, promote intercultural understanding, enhance global cooperation, and advocate for inclusive policies that support the development of a sense of citizenship beyond national borders. Next, in reconciling local and global identities and interests is where national citizenship identities are conflicted or under threat. National citizenship identities can face conflicts or come under threat in various scenarios, leading to challenges and fostering a cohesive sense of belonging and inclusion within a nation. It may be conflicted or under threat include ethnic and cultural divisions, political fragmentation, legal and policy issues, social and economic inequalities, migration and refugee crisis, historical conflicts and traumas, globalization and transnational identities. By acknowledging and addressing these challenges, nations can work towards building a more inclusive and cohesive national citizenship identity. Next is research and dialogue could facilitate the reconciliation of local and global identities and interests. Research and dialogue play crucial roles in facilitating the reconciliation of local and global identities and interests by fostering understanding, promoting communication, and addressing conflicts. Here is an explanation of how research and dialogue can contribute to this reconciliation process. Understanding different perspectives, identifying common ground, promoting dialogue, building relationships, addressing conflicts, promoting inclusivity, and informing policy and decision making. Another approach might be the notion of decentering, understood as a gradual process of expanding the focus of learners from their local realities to include, connect them to, and provide them with a vision of other realities and possibilities. This concept sees the local versus global as continuum and as an effort to bridge the gap between the two. This approach emphasizes the importance of recognizing and valuing the diversity of identities, cultures, and interests at both the local and global levels, promoting inclusivity, equity, and mutual understanding. As a catalyst of the transformative process, GCED promotes the use of a wide range of active and participatory learning methods that engage the learner in critical thinking about complex global issues and in developing skills such as communication, cooperation, and conflict resolution to resolve these issues. One of the skills need to be developed is communication skills. It means practice active listening, promote clear and respectful communication, and encourage open dialogue. Another is cooperation skills. It means foster framework, promote inclusivity, develop conflict resolution strategies. The last one is conflict resolution skills. It means provide conflict resolution training, encourage empathy and understanding, and practice negotiation and compromise. From ongoing tensions to enabling factors. There are a number of elements that are emerging as enabling conditions for the promotion and implementation of GCED. First is open environment for universal values. One example of this is our Philippine Constitution, which provides that educational institutions shall foster love for humanity, respect for human rights, teach the rights and duties of citizenship, strengthen ethical and spiritual values, and develop moral character. In Sri Lanka, the national goals of education refer to the establishment of a pervasive power of social justice, a sustainable lifestyle, deep and abiding concern for one another, among others. By creating an open environment that upholds universal values, GCED can effectively promote the principles of global citizenship, empower learners to engage with global challenges, and contribute to a more inclusive, peaceful, and sustainable world. This approach fosters a sense of shared humanity, interconnectedness, and collective responsibility among individuals, communities, and societies. Another is transformative pedagogy put into practice. It helps to increase the relevance of education in and out of classroom. GCE promotes learning that nurtures greater consciousness in and around real-life issues. It offers a way to make changes at local level that can influence the global level through participatory strategies and methods. These strategies is through engaging stakeholders of the wider community. Some changes both at individual and community or institutional levels. Process of reorientation of habitual action at the individual level and process of change at the level of community as the system. Transformative pedagogy recognizes that learning extends beyond the classroom and involves the community. Here's how to engage different stakeholders. First, parents and families. This creates a supportive home environment that reinforces the values and lessons learned in school. Next is local organizations and businesses. Partner with local organizations and businesses is to provide real-world learning opportunities such as internships, community service projects, and experiential learning activities. This helps students see the practical applications of their studies and fosters community involvement. Third is community leaders and elders. Engage community leaders and elders to share their experiences and wisdom with students. Their insights can provide valuable context and deepen students' understanding of social issues and cultural heritage. The last one is non-governmental organizations or NGOs and advocacy groups. Collaborate with NGOs and advocacy groups to raise awareness and involve students in social justice projects. This exposes students to different perspectives and encourages active citizenship. Another is some changes both at individual and community or institutional levels. A process of reorientation of habitual action at the individual level and a process of change at the level of the community as the system. Next is process of reorientation of habitual action at the individual level. Transformative learning at the individual level focuses on changing the way students think, perceive, and act. This process involves critical reflection, experiential learning, dialogic learning, and mentorship and role models. In critical reflection, it encourages students to critically examine their existing beliefs, assumptions, and values. This is often facilitated through reflective activities like journaling, discussions, and self-assessment. Next is experiential learning. It engages students in real-world experiences that challenge their existing perspectives and encourage new ways of thinking and acting. Third is dialogic learning. It creates opportunities for open dialogue, where students can share and critically engage with diverse viewpoints. Example, classroom debates or discussion groups on controversial topics can help students develop critical thinking and empathy. The last one is mentorship and role models. It provides students with access to mentors and role models who exemplify transformative practices. Example, inviting guest speakers who have made significant contributions to social justice can inspire students to pursue similar paths. Another is community or institutional level systemic change. At the community or institutional level, transformative learning involves creating an environment that supports and sustains individual transformations. This process includes creating a supportive culture, collaborative practices, policy and curriculum development, resource allocation. In creative and supportive culture, It develops a school or community culture that values and promotes critical thinking, inclusivity, and social justice. Example of this is schools can adopt inclusive policies and practices that ensure all students feel valued and supported. Next is collaborative practices. It encourages collaboration among students, teachers, administrators, and community members to address systemic issues and create positive change. Example on this is forming committees or working groups that include diverse stakeholders to address issues like bullying, inequality, or environmental sustainability. Third, policy and curriculum development. It implements policies and curricular changes that reflect transformative goals. This includes integrating themes of social justice, environmental stewardship, and ethical citizenship into the curriculum. Example on this is developing a curriculum that includes service learning components where students engage in projects that benefit the community. The fourth one is the resource allocation. It ensures that adequate resources, example, funding, training, materials are available to support transformative practices. Example on this is providing professional development for teachers on transformative pedagogy and securing funding for experiential learning activities. Transformative pedagogy in global citizenship education involves both bottom-up and top-down approaches to create meaningful and sustainable educational experiences. Here's how these approaches are put into practice. Bottom-up approaches. First, student-centered learning. Empowering students encourages students to take an active role in their own learning. Students participate in designing projects, choosing topics of interest, and setting their learning goals. Example is, in a project on global environmental issues, students might select a specific topic like plastic pollution and lead a campaign in their school to reduce plastic use. Next is grassroots initiatives. Promotes initiatives that start at the grassroots level involving students, teachers, and community members in addressing local and global issues. Example, students working with local NGOs to implement community clean-up programs or awareness campaigns on sustainable practices. Third is participatory action research. The collaborative learning there is it involves students in research projects that address real-world problems, encouraging them to gather data, analyze it, and propose solutions. Examples: a class researching the impact of climate change on local ecosystems and presenting their findings to local government officials. The fourth one is student voice and agency. Democratic education. It ensures that the students have a voice in decision-making processes within their schools and communities. Example, establishing student councils that participate in school governance and advocate for policies promoting global citizenship values. The other approach is top-down approaches. First, policy and curriculum development. It is national and institutional policies, integrating GCED into national education policies and curricula, ensuring that global citizenship themes are embedded in educational standards and frameworks. Example, a national education policy mandating the inclusion of GCED topics in all school curriculums, such as human rights, environmental sustainability, and cultural diversity. Next is teacher training and professional development. Capacity building. It provides teachers with the necessary training and resources to effectively deliver GCED. Example, professional development programs focused on equipping teachers with strategies for teaching about global issues, critical thinking, and intercultural competence. Third is resource allocation, funding and support. Allocating resources to support GCED initiatives such as funding for school projects, materials, and extracurricular activities. Example on this is government grants for schools to develop global citizenship projects or partnership with international organizations. The last one is institutional leadership and support. Administrative commitment. It ensures that school leaders and administrators support and prioritize GCED in their institutions. Example, school principals and administrators advocating for and implementing GCED programs, integrating them into the school's strategic planning and culture. By combining bottom-up and top-down approaches, transformative pedagogy in GCED ensures that educational practices are both grounded in local contexts and supported by broader institutional frameworks. This dual approach fosters a comprehensive and sustainable impact on students' development as global citizens. Education authorities and senior management, including principals, must also be open to educators working in what may be a new role, as an enabler or facilitator rather than a doer for children and in process-centered learning. This includes in- and pre-service training on participatory and transformative pedagogical practices that are learner-centered, are holistic, and foster awareness of local challenges, collective concerns, and responsibilities, encourage dialogue and respectful learning, recognize cultural norms, national policies, and international frameworks that impact on the formation of values, promote critical thinking and creativity, are empowering and are solution-oriented, and develop resilience and action competence. Those are further elaborated in the following diagram of principles of GCE pedagogy. The principles of GCE pedagogy emphasize a holistic approach to education that integrates knowledge, skills, and values. Here's how these principles are interconnected. Holism. GCE education considers the whole person, encompassing intellectual, social, emotional, and ethical aspects. Dialogue. Through open discussions and collaborations, students explore diverse perspectives and build intercultural understanding. Values formation. GCE pedagogy fosters critical reflection on values like justice, equity, and sustainability, encouraging students to be responsible global citizens. And critical thinking, students develop critical thinking skills to analyze information, challenge assumptions, and make informed decisions on global issues. These principles work together to empower students to be active and engaged global citizens. Young people are a driving force in promoting the values underlying global citizenship and putting this agenda into practice. Youth need to be acknowledged and supported not only as learners but also as educators, advocates, and leaders. Young people are not future citizens but active citizens now. An example of a youth-led initiative in global citizenship education in the Philippines is the Youth for Climate Action Philippines or YCAP movement. This initiative embodies the principles of GCED by addressing global environmental issues through local action, education, and advocacy. We only need three things to make this happen: will, commitment, and cooperation. To end my report, I want to share a line from Gunter Scatlak's Senior Coordinator Research Unit Education International. It is said that the quality of education will only be as good as the quality of the teacher. That's all my report. Thank you very much and have a blessed day to all of us.